From Sigma Woman, this is the Business for Aligned Women podcast. I'm your host, Clara McKay, your aligned business coach and advocate for all things showing up for your vision. This is a no BS space for brave-hearted women who are actually craving change, not just talk. I'm dedicated to bringing women's visions into reality, equipping women with all they need to build an abundant future, and shutting down all of the ways that you keep yourself small. Here, we're all about a women-centered approach, non-negotiable value alignment, and making bank without compromising your well-being. Each week, I'll be helping you to let go of shitty, limited mindset, comparison, overthinking, excuses that are holding you back, and feeling lost in biz, so that you can step into doing business in a way that feels good, step into total self-alignment, unshakable confidence, and to start taking direction on your vision. You will become the kind of woman who shows up for her dreams consistently, takes up space without question, and is making much more money and impact than she ever imagined. Just by making our time together your weekly ritual, you're already one step closer to your most aligned and abundant future. We're essentially going to be talking about why trying to give and do too much may be one of the biggest things that is sabotaging your business and your future success. This is something that I talk about quite often, but I'm talking about it and making a specific podcast episode about it today because it's been wildly prolific in the experience of my recent cohort of clients. And when something is that prolific and it's happening with everyone, it tells me this isn't a personal issue. This has nothing to do with that client and how she is and how she views herself. This is systemic and this is bigger than any one person. And we actually really need to address it and look at it. When I think about people who are in my community, maybe the women who did my mastermind live, who have done my other trainings, but maybe haven't done coaching with me, this behavior is one of the main things I see when I look at their online presence and I go, oh, this is why it isn't working. If you've been struggling, please listen up because this probably has a massive part to do with it. And the behavior is essentially it's overgiving. It's also over-promising. Ugh, I know, ouch. But one of the things I do with my clients is when we come up with our content as part of our sales strategy, I go, okay, let's write out all the results that are going to happen from this. And then I go, all right, do you truly, honestly, in your heart of hearts believe that you can deliver that? And we generally do cull a few things off of that list when I ask them to be very honest and very in integrity, because my sales strategy is based in integrity. And you who are wellness adjacent, and I'm talking anyone from Reiki practitioner, massage therapist to meditation to therapy, all of you guys, you're wildly hyperbolic in what you say you do for people. And you're generally trying to do way too many things at once. So you're trying to fix too many things, to heal too many things. You're trying to use way too many modalities. And you're also saying that this offer or this product that you have cures everything. And honestly, guys, if you really sit with yourself and you look at this and you do this gently with yourself, I think that you're going to see this. Now, let's talk about why overgiving, overcomplicating. I do all these things and I do them for all these people and I fix all of these problems. And I'll promise you the world, essentially, is not working in your business. And a big part of it is people are just confused. It's confusing being your social media follower. If I do 15 different things and I have 1,000 different modalities and I have a massive menu of offers, it's just too much. And most people who are anywhere near wellness and wellness adjacent, and to an extent everyone, needs to realize that the majority of people right now in 2024 are highly stressed and overwhelmed and maybe possibly on the verge of burnout, and their brains aren't functioning optimally. If you give them something confusing and you go, here, work this out, they're just going to go, no. They're going to go, no. I can't be fucked. I'm going to go someone who's clear and has this shit together. I know that sounds harsh, but you have to understand people are making a value judgment on you in 0.4 of a second. If it's not obvious what you do, who you're for, how it works, why they need it, why they should buy it, they're not going to give you enough attention in order to understand what you're trying to say. And this kind of over-giving, over-promising, a big way that I've seen this happen recently with my clients is using word salad. And what I mean by word salad is using a lot of insider language or a lot of fancy words or intelligent long words and trying to sound really smart and intelligent and savvy. But I'm quite an intelligent person. I read 120 books a year. I understand language, and I don't understand what these people are writing on their social media. So if I don't understand it, your average Joe with a couple of kids who's really stressed out, run off her feet, is not going to have the time or the bandwidth or the energy to sit down and try to process what you're actually saying. One thing that you should know is that humans as a species back away from confusion. You would see this in yourself. Imagine that you go somewhere and it's really, really unclear what you're meant to do, where you're meant to stand, where you're meant to go, where the thing is. I'm thinking of myself. I was in Queensland and I was trying to find a theatre, and the theatre on Google Maps was not showing where it was in the real world. And I ended up having to walk around the block a few times and having to poke around. And there was definitely a moment there in that 15-minute experience where I was, oh, well, I just won't go. If I can't find it, I just won't go. I'm not going to get there in time. I'm going to just have to give up, kind of thing. And you have to think about it. That's what's going on when people engage with your content and it's confusing. Okay. And I want you to think about yourself. Think about a time where you've gone somewhere and it's not been very clear. You've probably felt a bit nervous, especially if you tend towards anxiety. Maybe your anxiety kicks up. And how likely are you to make an investment in that state? Okay. This is when you overgive, you overpromise, you overcomplicate, and you use really intricate language that isn't clear. And when things aren't obvious, and obvious is the key word here. I think I want us to move away from clear and clarity because it's not giving the same bang that I need you to understand. And the word I want you to think about is it obvious. And when you do that, it will have a direct impact on your sales. If you're, oh, holy crap, I've been doing this, I really need help on this. My magnetic mastermind is essentially completely breaking all of this down and giving you all of the key steps and exercises that you need in order to go work out precisely who you are, what you do, what your offer is, who your client is, get to know them intimately, reflect and audit your own brand so that it's resonating with them, and then come up with content ideas using an integrity-based sales strategy that make it clear, obvious, and directly relate to your target markets. They can tune in and go, this is for me, this is what I need. If you're there and you need help on all of that, jump in the mastermind. I'll link it in the show notes. Last couple of things I want to say about this, and this is a tricky one. I'm going to try and work out a way of saying it while being PC. But I have sent people's websites and looked at their list of offers, and there's 190 different kinds of kind of the similar same thing, and also 10 different other things, which is not related in different modality and all this kind of stuff. And I want to ask you again, when you go to the chic, new, trendy cafe and they only have 7 things on the menu and it's very well curated and you don't have much to choose from, how do you feel nervous system wise, as opposed to when you go to a local restaurant and they have a laminated menu and the menu items are ordered by number and the numbers go into 3 figures. So there might even be 100 or 150 items on that menu. For me, I immediately go, how is all of this food fresh? How does the chef understand how to cook 150 items? Some of this is probably off, and Some of it's probably just the exact same meal that's been reworked. And it tells me that that restaurant doesn't feel confident to hone their skills and specialize in something. They're trying to be everything for everyone and give everything, and it's going to lower the quality of every single item that I could possibly order on that menu. This is the trendy cafe. I'm sure they've really sorted out their avocado on toast, so I'm going to get that. And I also don't need to think too much, and I'm not overwhelmed, and I'm quite calm, and I feel this is a place that is confident, and I trust that they've done their work because they've got to a point of refining things to be this clear. How would you feel? How do you feel in each of those scenarios? Because I'm going to put money down that you feel calmer, more happy, and probably more willing to spend more money in the hipster cafe. Now, of course, we all have those nights where we go down to the laminated menu place and we just pick out and we get everything. But I think that you would feel more confident that the curated menu is less likely to give you food poisoning. If you're someone who has a million different offers, I want you to think about that analogy. And I really want to ask yourself, what is your own buying behavior and behavior as a customer when you go into those situations where people are trying to overgive and overpromise? You cannot do it all. And if you try to do it all, you will be doing nothing well. And it is hard as someone who has a lot of different interests, who's very creative. It's very difficult for me to go, I'm just going to do aligned business. And do what? There's other projects and other businesses in the works that you don't know about that are allowing me to have those other ideas and those other creative outlets and help people in other ways that I know I can help. But I'm not going to try and do all of that in this one business because it's confusing and it would be detrimental to how successful the business can be. I really ask you to choose a path, choose your client, choose your offer, and start actually sticking with it. One of the things that makes me really sad in women in business is this happened to me, I don't know if this morning or yesterday, but there's a woman in business whose work I appreciate, content I pay for, and one day she just announces that she's going to stop doing something, or she chops and changes, does a podcast for a week, 6 months later, another episode. I'm going to be back for the next 3 months, and then doesn't post again for another 6 months. That's so sad to me that people can't be consistent in the things that are really serving them. And I believe that comes from trying to do too much, trying to overgive, and being distracted. I'm asking you to choose something and focus on it and stick with it. Stop getting distracted. And I honestly believe that if you can do that, your individual personal health, well-being, mental health, nervous system is going to be so much better. You're going to be so much less reactionary. And because you just know exactly what you're doing, you're not worrying about anything else, and you've got your blinkers on. I feel this episode in particular probably hit and probably has given you a lot of light bulbs. If that is the case, please, please, please share it to social media, because I know if you're hearing it, you probably definitely have friends and people in your community who really need to hear this as well. If you can't tell, getting to share this time with you is something that I find truly sacred. I know that you're busy, but if you've taken anything away from our time spent together today, could you extend the love and share this episode with a friend, your community, or on your socials? Tag me so that I can see it and I can share it too. Or when you have a spare moment, leave the podcast for review. These things cost you nothing and will mean so much to me. Let's get this resource into the hands of more women visionaries and help us collectively move towards our most aligned way of being and doing business together.